Alright, so recently vegans are promoting this twin study, right? Various vegans of various kinds are shoving this study in our face, this vegan twin study, which supposedly proves that vegans are healthier than omnivores or something like that. Except this study is a pile of shit, and it's actually laughable that vegans are promoting this and thinking this is good science, because it isn't, quite frankly, and I will show that in this video. And all the vegans that are promoting this study and are saying that this is good science and that this study proves anything, they're making a fool of themselves and are exposing themselves as being scientifically illiterate, okay? So yeah, before we actually jump in and look at this study more in detail, let's actually look at who funded this study, okay? So here are the conflict of interest disclosures. Dr. Abel reported receiving grants from the National Science Foundation postdoctoral research fellowship in biology. During the conduct of the study, Dr. Gardner reported receiving funding from Beyond Meat outside the submitted work. So, yeah, one of the researchers was funded by Beyond Meat. Very interesting, isn't it? I think this already proves how trustworthy the findings of the study are, right? Okay, now let's look at the title of the study. It says Cardiometabolic Effects of Omnivorous versus Vegan Diets in Identical Twins, Randomized Clinical Trial. Now it says in the title effects, okay? So they make it seem like this is a cause and effect study, that there's some kind of causal relationship, some kind of causal inference that we can make from this study. But when you actually look at the study, it's anything but causal, okay? So the intervention time period was 8 weeks. So 8 weeks, that's way too short of a duration, okay? Then we have 22 pairs of identical twins, and they're all adults, okay? So it's low statistical power, low sample size, only adults. Apparently children and elderly people don't exist in a vegan's mind, so this cannot represent the whole population, basically. So there's that, okay? And they, for example, they look at, as a proxy for metabolic health, they look at low density lipoprotein cholesterol concentration, which is weird because there's actually no evidence that LDL-C is causally linked to heart disease or anything like that. So it's a pretty useless metric to use, okay? So based on that, they cannot make this claim that what they say here, healthy plant-based diet offers a significant protective cardiometabolic advantage compared to a healthy omnivorous diet. This is a cause and effect statement that they're making here, and they cannot do that, okay? And actually, they admit in this study that this study cannot make any causal inferences in the limitations section of the study. We designed this study as a free living study. Thus, the behavior of following a vegan diet may induce the physiological changes we observed. However, the biological mechanisms cannot be determined to be causally from solely the vegan diet alone, because of confounding variables: weight loss, decrease in caloric intake, and increase in vegetable intake, blah. 6, diversity in education and socioeconomic status was lacking. So they admit in the limitation section of the study that the study cannot make any causal inferences and that it is confounded because the subjects of the study were not under control and observation. Okay? What happened in the study is they were giving instructions on how to eat, basically how to prepare their diets, and then they were delivered food to their homes, presumably, and also then after some time they were preparing their own food. Okay, they were living freely and preparing their own food, and then from time to time they were called and checked via phone call, basically. But they were living freely under no control and observation during the whole time period of the study, which means that we cannot make any causal inferences whatsoever here. Okay, and they admit so. I think we're already done with this study because this is garbage. Okay, low sample size, only adults, only 8-week intervention periods, and no controls whatsoever. So this study cannot actually claim anything about effects. Okay, but also look at let's also look at what they actually ate or what was delivered to them. Okay, because we don't actually know what they ate in reality. We only know what food was delivered to them. Okay, and what is interesting about that is that the omnivore group received a higher refined grain delivery. Okay, so a higher level of refined grains was delivered to the omnivores as compared to the vegans. Okay, also when we look at carbohydrate distribution, the omnivore group received more added sugar compared to the vegan group. Okay, also the vegan group had, in terms of both their food delivery as well as their self-provided food, had a way lower distribution of vitamin B12. Okay, so even if we assume that this study proves that vegans have better cardiometabolic health, this would come at a trade-off of having a vitamin B12 deficiency. I don't think this is something to be excited about, isn't it? So, but the study cannot even prove that vegans have better cardiometabolic health, so that's that. And also what is interesting is that when we look at the baseline consumption of vegan and omnivore groups, that at the baseline, the omnivore group had a higher alternative meats intake distribution, which is kind of strange if you think about it. Why would the omnivore group eat more meat alternatives, such as tofu, tempeh, soy nuts, veggie burgers? That's kind of strange. It makes me think that the omnivore group wasn't actually really omnivore at the outset of the study, but was maybe another vegan group or vegetarian group. But whatever. Okay. So yeah, I think that we can dismiss the study entirely based on the reasons that I mentioned. And again, if you think that LDL-C is a good marker for metabolic health or something, cardiometabolic health, take a look at this paper. LDL-C does not cause cardiovascular disease, a comprehensive review of the current literature. Okay. Also this, a critical review of the consensus statement from the European Atherosclerosis Society Consensus Panel 2017. Because this is kind of the consensus statement and a consensus paper that a lot of vegans are referencing when they say LDL-C causes heart disease or anything like that. And when you actually look at that paper, it has a huge conflict of interest statement, probably the hugest conflict of interest statement that I've ever seen. And you see a lot of statin producing companies there. Okay? And also I want to show you this graph that shows the total cholesterol levels versus mortality, all-cause mortality. And what you can see is that the cholesterol levels is inversely associated with all-cause mortality. That means that the higher the cholesterol, the lower the all-cause mortality. So, yeah, I think that this is very clear. We are done with this bullshit twin study that vegans like Lifting Vegan Logic and Mike the Vegan and Dr. Matthew Negra and all these other vegans are natural vegan. They shoved this study in our faces as if this proves anything, but it actually doesn't. Again, no control, low sample size, only an 8-week study period, and the study was even funded partially by Beyond Meat, so it's nonsense. Okay, thanks for watching.